Guys, welcome to TAOutdoors, and you may have noticed we're eating fish. This time it's a flatfish, and it's called a plaice, which is a species of flatfish that's caught over here in the UK and around Europe, I believe. But it's a really tasty flatfish, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Dad's actually caught this one. Tell us the story then, Dad, while I eat.
Yeah. Well, we've got a little few clips, I spent while we were eating. We went out just to test the Plaice fishing grounds down off the south coast of England, and I put some plastic teaspoons on as flashers or attractors, and we called 2 or 3 plaice, some very small bass which we put back. Plaice are a good eating fish, and early in the season they can sometimes be a bit thin. The best eating fish are going to be in February, but they can be thin, but they still taste good. And we had a couple of really good fish. I hooked one up, and obviously I wanted to film, so I gave Wayne the rod to wind the fish in. That's the one you can see here, and that's the one, in fact, one of these two that we're actually eating now.
Very good.
Whole. Wayne said cook it whole for the best taste.
I think it retains that flavour when you cook them whole, doesn't it?
Well, I think you told me that you get more juice come out the bones as well when you've got a fish.
Yeah, it's almost like stewing it as well. So, but we've got the fire going. We are here at my bushcraft camp. There's a whole series video playlist on my channel on how I built this camp. Every bit of wood you see in this camp is dead wood. You know, I'm in an area of woodland where there's so much dead wood. It's unbelievable. It's just unmanaged, which means it's just lying around everywhere. So I haven't had to cut down any trees for all the greenies out there, but we usually throw in a bit of what's called theory time, which we may eat this first and then do the theory time for you guys, or we could do it as we eat. Do you think?
We filleted this fish.
Yeah, dodgy.
Be careful with fish, guys.
Do you gut this while you're out there fishing, or at home? Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't drive 80 miles from the sea, come up like the camp, and we start cooking it. When we got back, and while Wayne was putting the boat away, I went down to the shoreline, and in the salt water, obviously, gutted the fish, but I did use a different knife. I used the shark tooth knife. You saw the primitive shark knife I made up. Man alive, it just cuts through the place like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, it worked. So I took the guts out of the fish. Fish was all cleaned. Then I brought it back, and I put it in some silver foil, put it in the freezer, it's frozen, and then we took it out like a day or so before, which is like yesterday. Brought it down when it's thawed out and put it on the fire, as you see here, all ready to rock and roll.
Just to say thanks very much really to everyone who's watching the channel. It's getting a lot of traction lately, lots of views and some really good comments and feedback from you guys. We're just a father and son. We're not full qualified survival experts, bushcraft instructors really. We just come out here in the woods and try and do some different things and really just spend a bit of time together. And it's almost like glorified camping really. We're just,
That's what it is,
we're just out here building a wooden fort really. But it's great fun, and you guys who have followed from the beginning, you know, you've seen us well develop really, see the whole channel develop and seen the camp develop. I will be going out actually to different areas of woodland. You may have noticed in my videos I'm in a pine forest a lot, I'm in a coniferous woodland, but I do have now some other areas of deciduous woodland which I'll be doing some videos in soon.
Summer camp
too.
Oh,
yeah,
summer camp.
Yeah, so just a bit more kind of camp stuff, outdoor camping, got some more overnighters coming. Lots of good content coming your way, but also do check out our other channel, which the old nut over here runs, Dad.
Fishing.
Yeah, TA Fishing. Really regular videos really, isn't it? Really good educational videos that Dad does on not just entertaining videos, but they give you tips on how to catch fish, tips on rigs, you know, setup, watercraft and knowledge and everything really. It's really good.
They're trying to pass on some information I've had from like 50 years of fishing as a complete lunatic nutcase on fishing. And there's a lot of stuff in here that's got to come out, and I thought once it goes, like with a lot of old fishermen, it's gone, isn't it, that information? Tiny small tips can be the ones that catch you the fish, as per putting these little plastic spoons on as flash as attractors caught us to Plaice that day. I don't think there's any other place caught that day we were out. We were one of the first boats to come in with some Plaice. Obviously a seasonal fish, but we like cooking fish down here in the camp, don't we?
We do, and what we want to know really is not just fish, but what sort of fish do you guys catch and cook where you are? Because obviously it varies all around the world. I mean, we've been fortunate enough to go to a few countries around the world where they have amazing eating fish. I think my favourite ever eating fish is dorado.
Yeah, in Mexico.
Which I believe is called a mahi-mahi.
Yeah, dorado in Mexico.
Yeah, very nice fish. Probably my favourite. What would you be your favourite eating fish?
Plaice.
Really? Even international?
No, it would be really the dorado. I think they call it blackened or with garlic. That's really nice. I mean, we've had it when we've gone to Mexico. Yeah. Marlin fishing, haven't we? And
Mauritius.
Wahoo steaks are good as well. When I went to Bermuda, they had some Wahoo steaks there and they cut them across rather than fillet the fish. That's really nice. You get that in restaurants, obviously, or you can get swordfish steaks and stuff like that, you know. But catching a swordfish is not happening in my boat anytime soon.
But let us know what you guys cook anyway. If it's just not just fish, just whatever you guys like to take to camp and cook, and pre-cooked meal, you know, that you prepared or something like that. Well guys, we've built the fire back up again, and the fish went down an absolute treat. And unfortunately, I was in a bit of a rush packing my bag today because I was out shooting with my buddy George. And
did you get anybody?
No.
Well, I just saw in passing, a lot of Americans have guns. Well, you know, we don't have them. We have to throw stones.
There's a time and a place.
In England, we have to throw stones at people. That's our weapon. or a spork. I'm gonna rub this bank, buddy. Give me the money.
It's ironic. It's ironic because all the police can use over here is baton. A baton,
yeah. They'd be good at chopping
you
up wood.
Naughty boy. Yeah. Anyway, I can't. Right, I was in a bit of a rush, and I forgot to pack a decent drink. So I actually just had this in my pack anyway. It's just a soda or a soft drink. So it's really annoying because I wanted to bring a decent beer out here, and I blimmin' forgot.
Well, that's tough, isn't it?
I bet, have you got any water?
No, I packed my own food, and luckily for me, I bypassed on the soda.
Oh, he's got a beer! What the heck?
I've got a Corona.
I didn't even know he had that. He snuck that in here. That's so sneaky. I didn't know you brought that.
I only just found it.
You didn't bring two? Cheers!
Well, no, I didn't actually.
Thanks for
I thought you look after your own beer.
Yeah, cheers.
Every man's got to look after his own beers.
Oh, dear.
I just noticed, and this is the truth, I was digging around, how am I going to get that off? Am I going to be macho and try and rip all my fillings out? You know, pew, teeth flying everywhere. The spork's actually got, I don't know why it's got two. What's that there? It was the one for taking stones out of shoes.
No, it's just bottle opener.
So I got a bottle opener, yeah, so it's a handy.
Is that on your spork?
Yeah, I laughed at this when they gave me
this.
Not laughing. I'm crying, it won't open. It's open.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
You know what I feel?
What's that?
No, not drunk. I feel, in a minute, a little bit more of that fire and theory time's on the way.
Oh, yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well folks, it's that time of the evening where we do a bit of theory time, which is, for those that are new to the channel, is basically towards the end of our videos. For some weird reason we talk about some wild and wacky out there idea and try and bounce a theory out there of what we think is happening in the world, or what happened thousands of years ago, and maybe why it happened, and you guys try and help us out in the comments to try and figure out, well, what happened. And this time the old nut, I always say the old nut has got a theory.
Yeah, I want to know,
what is it?
What happens when they had toothache years ago? How did they possibly get rid of teeth? The Stone Age people, they must have had excruciating toothache.
They just ripped it out, probably.
Well, I mean, I hate dentists anyway, and I'm not surprised, because we've all suffered some form of trauma, surely, with a dentist. And I'm going to tell you,
hate them.
Well, I had the fear of God put in me. I'm 66 coming up. I was about 8 years old, and you know what they did in the 1950s? Wait for this. With children in England, the dentists gassed them. Now, it's true. He's laughing. It's absolutely true. They used to have a mask, whoosh, have the gas. Now, come along, Graham, this won't hurt. And they had this big rubber thing. You'd be tilted back in the chair. I used to force it on you. No, and then they say, just take some deep breaths, Graham. Deep breaths? There's a grown man trying to gas me. So, I mean, I'm not surprised they didn't even have that. Perhaps they didn't have the fear of dentist gas in those days.
No.
I want to know, how did they get them out? How did they get teeth out of them? What did they do with toothache?
I genuinely reckon they were hard enough to just pull their tooth out with their... They were hard enough. They're trying to survive, remember. Toothache is nothing to them. We whinge and moan about toothache. It's nothing to them, really.
Oh, whinge about the dentist.
They need to survive. I reckon they just pulled them out, probably with some sort of flint knife or something like that.
I wonder when
the other thing, bouncing off that theory, they were known to, because of the lack of hygiene and everything during that primitive era, they were known to obviously get ill very quickly. They got infections and things. They didn't have the antibacterial, the antibac stuff that we have, and the medicine that we had. Albeit they did have primitive medicine, just not on the kind of effectiveness that we did.
Roots and stuff like that, didn't they?
So obviously they lost their teeth probably at a lot younger age than we did. What happens? How do they chew their meat?
They suck it.
How do they...
That's why I never got indigestion. They digested it by sucking it.
It's just something you think.
It makes you wonder.
The meat must have been really tough. It must have been pretty tough in those days.
Did they cook it more? Maybe they beat it with something to tenderise it?
Yeah. Who knows?
You've got to think about these.
They must have lost their teeth by 30 years old. All their teeth gone.
I don't know. It must have been. Yeah. Is there something for you guys to?
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know in the comment section.
There's Neanderthal experts out there.
Yeah.
We're not saying they're Neanderthals. There's Neanderthal experts out there.
Oh yeah. Anthropology, I think it's called.
Anthropology.
Someone told me in the comment section. Anthropology is something about the study of primitive man, I think.
I'll tell you one of the comments I did only come up comparatively recently compared with when we made this film. We were talking about the growth of ivy on the roads, and I thought about it for some time, and I thought, I wonder if it's the momentum of the cars going past that carries
spreads
that
it tree to tree.
Yes.
Ah.
Blow me down. A guy's come up and put on the comments page. Did you see it today?
No, I haven't seen that.
On the comments page, maybe the motion of the traffic carried from seed to seed, because tree to tree, because there's no question they're on our tree verges, aren't they?
Oh, and another thing which I needed to say from one of the other videos that I did, one of the overnighters, where I said about primitive man couldn't eat raw fish, and you guys piped up about sushi. Yes. Obviously, I know about sushi and it's raw fish and you can eat it. However, a lot of sushi I know is tuna. There's a lot of tuna involved. You can eat it raw.
Not the forest.
No, exactly. How did primitive man go and catch a tuna? So I don't know. They ate raw. What I kind of really meant was mammals. How do they know to cook mammals? That's part of the other theory. You can go onto that video and have a look. Anyway, we're going to probably crack on. It's getting dark, but we'll probably build the fire up again.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably give it a few hours and then head on out.
Doesn't look dark on that camera because it's low light.
I know, yeah.
It's a really good camera.
It's boosted the light out. It's actually getting almost
very
dark now.
dusk here at the moment. Yeah. We're just waiting for the Wolverines to come. One howl and we'll be gone from here.
Yeah.
So the object of the exercise, guys, if you're a man, you pack your own beer. Look at that eye, boy.
So one of the things I wanted to talk to you just quickly at the end of this video is I've got a new LED lantern. This is a 12 LED lantern by Hamswan, and these are actually really good because they're light, they're portable, and they're quite long lasting. Now I do have a lot of Well, Dad's got his old Tilly lamp, which is very good, and I've got one of the storm lanterns as well, which is great for a natural flame lantern. But often when you're on campsites and things like that, you know, you don't really. It's dangerous in a tent. I do a lot of camping in a tent as well. So I wanted one of these LED lanterns for my tent camping, but I thought I'd show you guys here out at the camp. Really useful. It's actually got 3 settings. It's about 100 lumens, so you're not going to walk around trying to find your way to the toilet in the night with it. Because it's not going to punch out huge amounts of light. It's an ambient light, so it's more for your camp. So for example, I could just hang this up in the corner of the camp, and it just keeps the area around me lit up, but not, you know, glaring in my face, and not going to light up in the distance, so I don't get seen by everyone. But it's got that sort of main setting, and then it's got a nice warmer, much warmer ambient, almost natural flame colour, and then again another brighter white LED. So it's quite nice to have 3 settings. It runs by 3 AA batteries. It's got these folding carrying arms here, which not only obviously help you to carry the lantern with your hand, but it gives you something to hang it up with as well. Just thought I'd show you guys that because I needed one of these LED lights, and I'm going to probably use it in some of my tent camping videos when I'm in a tent. And if you watch the previous videos that I did, one of them I showed you where if you light up your tarp or your tent, you can see it well in the distance, but it doesn't give off a glaring light, but you can see it well in the distance, and that way when you're collecting firewood and things like that, you'll be able to find your way back to your camp easily without having to just use your head torch. Quite a useful bit of kit, nice and lightweight. I think it's about 200 grams as well.
Well guys, Mike's starting to pack up now, just letting the fire burn down. I looked in my knapsack, and the main thing I was going to tell you guys about, which I found and was given by somebody years and years ago, we're talking about campsite cooking. How about this? That's an antique copper saucepan, just like it's tinned inside. I've polished it all up as an ornament. I have actually boiled some water in it. Wait for this. It weighs 6.5 pounds on its own. So I can't imagine what the women would cook like, what must have looked like, you know, because when I weighed it and I put some water in it, it weighed over 10 pounds. Now imagine that you were married and it was your wife and she's calling you for tea. Can you imagine if she's been cooking with this all her life, the size of the guns? Man alive, when she called you for tea, boy, you better come. That thing weighs a ton.